So, good evening. LJ here. So, what do we do tonight? We're gonna be comparing. Tonight we're gonna be comparing two of the most affordable, probably, power supplies. These are not isolated. Again, I'd like to reiterate. These are not isolated power supplies, as someone might think it is. It's not. We are gonna be, although I think they're noiseless, but we are gonna be comparing my old one spot power supply unit versus the not so old Caline CP-04 that my friend from Loose Arms and Subculture Brian, the boy, lended it to me for me to test it. A few things you might wanna consider before using these. So you always have to consider how many pedals are you gonna be powering up, and make sure that you read the manual how much this can carry versus and this can carry. Ideally, I use this to maximum of 5 pedals. I have 2 of these. 2 of this one spot. This is not mine, so I don't have any of that. The reason why I have 2 of this thing is because I used to have a tool cover band, and I use about 8 or 9, even 10 pedals on that band. So I got myself another one so that I use it on kind of like the second set of the board. So we're gonna do this on a more realistic approach. By realistic I mean we're gonna use one of my secondary pedal board, which I just recently assembled. These are all pedals, so this is my not so angry pedal board. Pretty simple. A wah, a Sansam, a tuner, and a chorus, a boss chorus. So we're just gonna test it, how effective they are in terms of noise, and we're gonna plug it directly into the interface just for us to really see if there's any noise. Because in an amp, if we're gonna do it through an amp, there might be other factors. So we're trying to minimize the factors that would contribute to the noise, because we want to test really the power supply, yet being realistic about it. We're gonna use it on an actual board that I use on live gigs. So again, this is a pretty simple 4 pedal board, but we're gonna use just 3. We're not gonna use the tuner, because I only have 3 cables for the Caline or Caline, or however you want to pronounce that thing. So I'm not going to use the tuner. We're going to first run a test, and we're going to use the Ibanez 6-string bass, and we are also going to use the wireless transceiver they have recently acquired, because this is what I use on live gigs. So again, the goal is to be realistic, yet we're not using amp, because we want to capture the noise from here, from guitar to the board, and not going to the amp, because the amp can be a bit noisy because of the gains and the other knobs that is in there. So what we just our goal is just really to to identify the noise that's coming from the guitar to the pedal board without using the amp. So as you can see, we have our Reaper ready to record. So we're gonna first test one spot because it's all jacked up already. So I would be showing you how it registers using one spot. So you'll see frequencies there. It's not totally noiseless like your isolated power supply units. But if you'd notice, it has minimal noise, and this is an active bass, so it really it would really have its noise, and you would really notice it. So again, you'll see the frequency of the noise. Right up there. So we're gonna try the Caline. We're gonna see how it is. We're gonna use the 100 milliamperes slot for the Caline. It's not really a bad power supply unit, and I'll tell you where or what I would prefer to use after this test, and I'll tell you why as well. So there it is. As you can see, it lights up. And we're gonna use the same baby. So engage. I did not really change the settings of the pedals here because it's just for testing purposes. So you would notice, you would see that, and I put the secondary video at the bottom part of this video, most likely right here, just for you to see how the frequency approaches or happens. If I would observe the frequency of these two, they almost have identical noise when plugged into these pedal board. So we're gonna shut down everything, and we're gonna talk about the noise instead. So the noise is pretty much tolerable on a live setup. If you are a bassist and you play kind of like jazz, standard pop ballads kind of music, definitely this is not what you need, because those type of songs have, I would say, really clean voicings all over instruments. So from bass to drums to guitars to the voices, to the piano to the keyboard, they are more cleaner rather than my type of music, which obviously I play metal. And so in a metal settings, those fluctuating frequencies or noise that we're going to be hearing is something that's tolerable in a live settings, as long as you don't create feedback. And I don't see any power supply unit creating a feedback. It's usually your pickups and the high gain pedals that's creating the feedback, but not the power supply unit. So if you are to ask me with my type of music, I would go for my old one spot. Why? Well, it has almost the same noiseless power supply unit, despite its circuitry more portable and more mobile compared to this that I would have to it would have to occupy space on my board, and I don't have much space because I like to travel light, and this is more prone to damages, because again, if you drop it along with your pedal board, I can't install it below my board because there's not much space. So in a nutshell, I'd still go for one spot, primarily because of the results that the Caline and Caline versus one spot. Of course, the isolated power supply of one spot and the presumed isolated power supply unit of Caline is something that I have not tested, and of course I expect a different result from it. And to be fair with Caline, they didn't really say that this is isolated, but I would give them props to how they created this thing. It's small, it's handy, it works as expected. It has less noise. So if you have 8 or more pedals on one single board, you can, and you're tight on budget compared to this. On how I do it, if I have more than 5 pedals, I'd still go for 2 one spots, because I'd like to separate the circuits of my pedals instead of powering them up with one single power supply unit, which has its own advantages, has its own disadvantages. Pricey because it's 2 power supply units obviously than just one. It's more handy, but if one power supply messes up, it doesn't affect the other one. So I could still use my board, find another way to play the songs that we need to play, if ever one of my power supply units messes up in the middle of a gig. So yes, that's it. Really quick. I'm trying to make it quick, but I think this is gonna be like a 20-minute video. So thank you for your time. Enjoy.